Having a solid defense core is key to a successful team. Just look across the pond to the National Hockey League playoffs right now. Most teams are opting for an extra defenseman, going for 7 blue liners and 11 forwards. Why? Because having a deep blue line is key to success. The Elite League is no different. So who were the best defensemen this season? Here is our top 5. At number 5 we have Sam RUOPP. Last season we saw him come to the league for the Giants, and I really liked his defensive game. Really responsible with the puck. This season we saw him continue that trend, but he also found another gear with his offensive production. In 61 games played this year, he has posted 6 goals and 38 assists, for an impressive 44 points. We take the plus-minus stat with a pinch of salt. It is more of a team stat than anything. But we can still draw some conclusions. He led all Giants defensemen in this category with a plus 68 in all competitions. He is a really solid two-way guy that can be put out in any situation. We look forward to seeing him more for Team GB. At number 4 we have Ben O'Connor. Now in the past I really haven't liked his all-round game. We know he can shoot the puck. And we know his skating is excellent. But how was he in the defensive zone? However, this season I was pleasantly surprised. Sure, he isn't a shutdown guy by any means, but I thought he was decent this year on that side of things. Something I think the Flames organization, and in particular Paul Dixon, does really well, is put players in great positions to succeed. We see year in and year out guys getting signed that perhaps don't have the most impressive careers to that point. But they come to Guildford and succeed. And I think they did a great job of that with O'Connor. Playing him with guys that can cover him, allowing him to skate up the ice and shoot the puck. They also put him in a position to run that power play. I think that's why he didn't do well in Cardiff previously. If you bring this guy in, he needs to be your clear-cut number 1. But the thing with O'Connor is that offensive production. This season in 68 games, he posted 12 goals and 47 assists, for 59 points. He is just so great offensively, particularly on the power play, 6 power play goals this year. I would be shocked if Guildford don't try and bring this guy back for another year. At number 3 we have NATHANAEL HALBERT. Yes, he is my favorite player in the league, and yes, I am gutted to see him leave for Europe next season. I have said it before, and I will say it again. This guy is a game breaker. It's not just the offense. And it's not even just the defense. It's all those intangibles. His leadership, big hits, physicality, a big goal, a silky pass, a blocked shot. There isn't an aspect of the game that he doesn't affect. He did miss some games here and there, but in total he played 49 games for the Blaze this season, notching 11 goals and 34 assists for 45 points. Just shy of a point per game blue liner is not too bad. And as captain he led the Blaze this season to some really impressive results, even challenging Cardiff for 4th place down the stretch. We are gutted to see him move on, but he is for no doubt our number 3 defenseman this year. At number 2 we have Gabe Bast. Now if you put Bast as your number 1, that is totally fine with me. His numbers this season have been ridiculous. Let's start with the numbers. In 66 games this season, he scored an unbelievable 18 goals, 54 assists, for 72 points. Well over a point per game on the blue line. And he comfortably leads all defensemen in scoring this season. And this guy is still so young, just 26 years old. In the past we have seen guys come over and dominate, Butu they are usually veterans. Guys like Reinhardt or Register last season. But the way he sees the ice, reads the play as it develops, he is able to get into those areas to shoot the puck. He has been so impressive to watch, and that's why he is my number 2 this year. Before we look at our top spot, let's talk about a couple players that didn't quite make our top 5. Most notably is Matthew Peatgrave. He actually led the Steelers in scoring this season with 65 points in 70 games. He is clearly an offensive beast. So why don't we have him in the top 5? For me, I didn't love his all-round game, and despite his points totals, I would be surprised to see him back for the Steelers. His defensive game was lacking a bit for me, but most of all his lack of discipline. He led the league in penalties by a very large margin, with 172 penalty minutes. He averaged around 2.5 minutes in the box per game. It just seemed like he was constantly taking really bad calls, putting his team down. That really puts your team at a disadvantage. But I do want to highlight his playmaking ability, and at times he did put the team on his back offensively. He just didn't make our top 5. I also want to shout out Dryden Dow. Again, I don't love his defensive game. I think at times, especially later in the season, his back checking was lackluster. But this is again a guy who puts the team on his back. The team love him, bringing him back for another season almost immediately after the playoffs. He put up 41 points in 54 regular season games. And he easily led the team in time on ice. This is a guy they rely on so heavily. And lastly, I just want to mention Bradley LaLonde. Not perhaps your biggest name, or flashiest defenseman. But he led the team in time on ice, and was really a guy for all situations. I think having him on the blue line really enabled O'Connor to play his game. And this guy put up 13 goals, and 31 assists, for 44 points in 63 games. He was actually my second favorite D-man to watch this year. At number 1, and my top defenseman of the year, is Marcus Crawford. Again, mostly an offensive guy. And sure, he has his warts at times. But in 68 games this year, he posted 11 goals, and 51 assists, for 62 points. And I want to talk about why I feel he was better than Bass this season. I think it's clear that these are likely the top 2 guys on everyone's list. This season the Giants notched 40 more goals in the regular season alone, than the Cardiff Devils. So it's safe to assume their top scorers would have some inflated assist numbers perhaps. But in watching the Giants, they did such a better job in and around the net, causing traffic. A lot of Bass' goals and assists were in large part because of the great things they were doing in front of the net. Not that I am detracting from his play at all. But in watching Crawford, you see how much skill went into creating those moments. His skating is excellent, and his vision for passing and shooting I feel has been the best all year. To put simply, on the Giants Scott Conway led that offense. For the Devils, I felt Crawford led the offense. And that's why I think I have to put him number 1. But what do you guys think? What does your top 5 list look like? Did we get it right? Let us know in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching, and take care.